This is Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon. Mitch Lafon.
Welcome to Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon, and I am the one, the only Mitch Lafon, which is actually fortunate because it would be kind of strange to say, welcome to Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon, I'm Steve. It would be somewhat strange. Anyway, I've got Vivian Campbell of Def Leppard with me today. We are here to talk about the Las Vegas residency. The band is taking over the Zappos Theater at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino for, as it says on the website, 12 explosive nights from August 14th to September 7th. And the band is promising all kinds of goodies, songs they haven't played in decades, and I'm even hearing songs that they've never played live. So if you can get out to Vegas, it is going to be spectacular. Spectacular. And the only way it would be more spectacular is if they would fly me out to witness it myself. But I just saw 3 shows in Canada with Def Leppard and Tesla. I saw Montreal, Quebec City, and Ottawa. And listen, if you want me to rank the shows, by far, Montreal had the wildest and craziest crowd. Quebec, stunningly beautiful, great venue, great crowd. And then pulling up the rear, it would be Ottawa. But listen, Ottawa's a government town. They have the Ottawa Senators. They're you know, it takes them a little longer to get warmed up for rock and roll. No, I'm kidding. I love all my folks in Ottawa. It's a great city, and the band was just spectacular. You know, for me, having seen them, it's got to be going on to 25, 30 times, if not more. I got to see them play the song Excitable. I had never seen them play Excitable before, and I always thought that it was such a deep, dark cut on the Hysteria album, and there's 7 singles ahead of it. I thought, wow, there's not a chance I will ever see that, but I did, and the set list for all 3 shows I saw was exactly the same. But you know, I'm not complaining. You're here for Vivian Campbell. The one, the only Vivian Campbell, the mighty Vivian Campbell, former Lou Gramm guitarist Vivian Campbell, or Shadow King, former Dio guitarist Vivian Campbell, Last in Line guitarist Vivian Campbell, and River Dogs. That's what you're here for. So let's get over to Vivian. This is not a career-spanning interview. We are very, very focused on the Las Vegas residency. It does take place, again, and I'm going to read it right off the website, Zappos Theater at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino for 12 explosive nights from August 14th to September 7th. Get ready to rock with Def Leppard as Def Leppard Hits Vegas, the Sin City Residency. Rock on. Here is Vivian Campbell. We are speaking with Def Leppard guitarist Vivian Campbell. Vivian, I've just seen you 3 times on this Hits Canada tour, but so I sort of had my own private residency in a sense since I followed you around, but we are talking Las Vegas residency. Isn't that cool?
It is indeed, yeah. We're actually rehearsing frantically for the show. We left it all of it last minute, you know, and we've been sound checking and rehearsing backstage. And today's actually a day off, but we brought some acoustic guitars and we're bashing out songs. So as soon as I'm done with these interviews, I'm heading back downstairs to get back into rehearsal because, you know, we want to make it a really special show in Vegas. You know, we got to make it something different from our regular touring show, and that's the great thing about doing a residency in Vegas. You really have a license to mix it up, and we're going to be playing some songs we've never played and some songs we haven't played in close to 3 decades or so, you know. So it'll be good.
Yeah, now, while I saw you in Montreal, Ottawa, and Quebec, I had a chance to see some of the sound checks and hear some of the sound checks. Can we reveal some of the songs you were playing, or do folks have to wait?
I'd rather not, no. we want to keep it a bit of a surprise, at least for the first night. Although it is going to be different. We are going to mix it up a little bit night to night. We have I can't remember how many shows. There's a 3-week residency, but we want to try and make every show at least different by one song. And we haven't even decided on the exact second. We're still even debating what we're going to open with and how we're going to reveal the show and all that. So, yeah, last minute Larry's, you know what I mean?
Well, hey, that's a good way to keep it spontaneous. But okay, so explain to the folks how this one is different than the last one. The last one was Viva, Hysteria, and obviously you focused on the one album. Is this one where you're going to get in there and play tracks from the entire career? Are we looking at the first 3 albums, the first 5 albums? How do you sort of decide what the focus is?
There is no specific focus, unlike the Viva Hysteria. That was the first time we'd ever done an album in sequence, and we had to build a show around that. So we broke that show up into parts. This show is going to be a bit more career retrospective. There's going to be some very new material that we've never played before, as well as some very old material that I think there's a song we're working on today that I think I played with the band once in a club in Dublin, which was my very, very first time on stage with Def Leppard, and it was a couple of days before the Freddie Mercury AIDS awareness benefit, which was the big reveal. And so I think that was the only time that we ever played this particular song. So, it is more a career retrospective show. We are going to try and have a part of the show that's going to be more intimate. Not quite acoustic, but, we're going to strip it down and kind of, I think, focus, on the vocal aspect of the band. I mean, it's something that we're pretty well known for as being a hard rock band with really strong vocals, but, to put it in a more intimate setting so we can really make that be a focal point of the show as well. And, like you say, it's still being decided, literally, and it will be like right up to the last minute. We're going into Vegas a few days early to rehearse and work on the stage show and how we're going to present it. And it's exciting, it's a different thing for us. It's very different to do a Vegas show than to do a normal touring show.
Well, on a normal touring show, and again, I saw you in those 3 Canadian cities, and the Montreal show, completely epic. And you pulled out a song, Excitable, which I had never seen you do live before. Mm-hmm. Is it, when you're doing a residency, tempting to put away some of the big hits and say, okay, listen, go see us in New York in July next year, and you'll hear Pour Some Sugar. We're going to focus on another hit and run. We're going to focus on, Wasted or Rock Brigade. Is there that temptation to put away some of the more common songs?
Yeah, but some of the big hits, there are certain songs I think we always have to play, like you mentioned Sugar. I think that's going to feature in every single Def Leppard show from now till eternity, because, yeah, it is a special show in Vegas, and we will have a lot of hardcore fans flying in from around the world, specifically because they know they're going to hear something they're not going to hear on a normal touring show. But at the same time, it's Vegas, and you get a lot of casual fans who see that Def Leppard are doing a residency, and they'll come along and they'll want to hear Pour Some Sugar on Me, they'll want to hear Photographs. So it's just a question of finding the right balance, and the other great thing about Vegas is we're not up against a hard curfew. We can play as long as we want, so, and it's a pretty cushy schedule, I got to say, we're only doing about 3 shows a week. So, and we're not traveling in between. So, we'll be well rested, and I think we'll be well up for giving people their money's worth,
Oh, I can't wait. Now, for you, obviously you weren't on every album. Are there songs from the first 3 albums or 4 albums that the band has never played that you really want to play? Are there songs that you're saying, hey guys, you know what? I'd really like to dig into Rock Brigade. We haven't done that. What are the songs that you would like to play specifically?
Yeah, well, those songs were very interesting to me. They were the first Leppard songs that I ever heard. And, I was still back in Belfast at the time when I heard Wasted and Rock Brigade. We did actually play Rock Brigade as part of the opening set on the Viva Hysteria.
All right, the Dead Flatbirds.
Dead Flatbirds played it, yeah. And I'm not so sure how it went down. I don't think it's terribly well known, but it certainly was fun to play. Wasted is a song that we've put into the encore slot on occasion, usually in Europe, usually in festival situations. I don't think it's really well known in the US at all, or North America anywhere. But there's songs. For me as a guitar player, it's always more interesting to play a rock focused song as opposed to a pop song. And there certainly are more of those in the earlier Leppard albums. When you take it back to the High and Dry record and Paramania, I get to stretch out a bit more when we do that. So yeah, I'm nudging them there, and we're going to be playing some of that in Vegas for sure.
The last Leppard album was in 2015. Where are we in terms of new music, and do you use the residency to suss out new music ideas?
There's always songs in the go. Everyone in the band is a songwriter. We all have these little ideas in our back pockets. It's all a question of making the collective effort to get together and actually start recording something. There's been rumors of maybe addressing that sometime in 2020. I don't know if it'll be an album. I doubt it, but I think probably what will happen is we'll go into the studio and we'll just try and focus on 2 or 3 or 4 ideas and see what comes out of it. But the last time we did that, it ended up being an album, which was the eponymous Def Leppard album in 2015. So, it is about time, and we've got to keep exercising that muscle, as creative beings and as a creative unit, we have to keep doing that, even if it's, essentially just an excuse to go on tour because, hey, we got a new album, but it's important for us as musicians that we keep doing that. And there is a certain percentage of Leppard's fan base that really, really are hungry for new music, So it's, but then there's a whole other generation of people who are just discovering Def Leppard for the first time and coming to our shows, and they want to hear the hits, So I don't think we'll be focusing on writing in Vegas. So I'd say the first week is going to be pretty hectic, trying to finalize some of the songs. So like I said, we want to make it a little bit different every single show that we're doing out there. So we're constantly going to be rehearsing, I think, even on the days off and finessing the show and right up until the last week. Funny enough, actually, Andy Freeman, the lead singer in Last in Line, lives in Las Vegas, and I'm going to be on some of the days off. I'm going to be writing with Last in Line for the next album for that project, but that's a whole different thing,
That's a great thing. And okay, well, let me ask you just quickly about that. I was going to ask you another Vegas question, but if you do work out with him and you get some more Last in Line stuff, do you want to do that again with Jeff Pilson producing, or do you want to self-produce?
It pretty much is a co-production with Jeff anyway, we all are very much hands-on. I do like what we had going for the first 2 Last in Line albums. I think it really, really works. The most difficult aspect about working with Jeff is his scheduling. He's just so busy, and then we got to balance his schedule with my schedule with Leppard and everyone else's. So if it's possible to do that, I'd certainly like to stick with that.
Yeah, that would be great. And the Last in Line performance at the M3 Rock Festival was brilliant. I was going to say a swear word there, but it was brilliant. It was holy fuck, was it good? Viva Hysteria obviously came out as a live album and a live DVD or Blu-ray. Do you see yourself recording this one for anything, or is it just, no, you got to come to Vegas to see this show?
We are actually thinking about recording this one as well, as a visual package. But obviously, to do that, we've got to make it very, very different from Viva Hysteria, which we intend to do anyway. And it also has to be different from any other live recordings that we've done over the last several years. So, which is why there's no such thing as a day off here on the road. We're really focusing our efforts on trying to make this Vegas show something very unique, because we know that it has to be unique first and foremost, and especially if it's going to be televised at some stage. So we'll see. If we do that, it's obviously going to be at the end of the run. Because we gotta finesse all the songs.
You really do. Now, with the exception maybe of Billy Joel, who does sort of a Madison Square Garden kind of residency-ish, Do you see yourself bringing this concept to any other city? I mean, I know you talk a lot about how you love Montreal and Mexico City, and the crowds are great there. Do you see yourself exporting that to London or to Toronto, or is it just really a Vegas thing to do a residency?
Well, I've heard that Aerosmith are taking their Vegas residency and actually doing some shows on the East Coast somewhere.
Yes.
Somebody mentioned that to me the other day.
Yes,
so I wouldn't...
Boston or Connecticut, yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of makes sense, you know? I mean, it's not a bad idea to kind of export it, you know, because not everyone can get to Vegas, and it's easy enough for us as a band that's so used to touring, you know. It's actually very luxurious for us to just set up camp somewhere for a few weeks, you know, as opposed to a different city every night. So all things are possible indeed.
And let's hope now. I see we're down to the last 2 minutes. I'll just quickly talk about this Canadian tour. You're doing it all of July with Tesla. The shows I've seen were spectacular. What is it about Canada that you can set up and do an entire cross-country tour? Because not many bands can do that or have the ability to sell out the way. I mean, if you saw how it was at the Videotron Center in Quebec or the Bell Center in Montreal, you could have sworn it was 1987 all over again.
Mm-hmm. There's just something about Canada and Def Leppard. You know, it is Def Leppard's largest market in the world per capita. In terms of record sales, it always was. And, you know, there's just a lot of love there. I gotta say the audiences have been just off the charts. I mean, it's just been incredible, the noise coming from the Canadian audiences in this entire tour. You know, we started off in Halifax, and we couldn't believe how excited the audience were and how loud they were. And then we went to Moncton, and it was the same thing, you know. And of course, Montreal, forever and ever and ever, it's always been one of my favorite cities to play, and I know that the other guys feel the same way. And we actually started having our sound engineer take a dB reading at the soundboard right before we play the encore songs at the end of the show, and Montreal came in, the audience was 115 dB. So that's without us playing. That was just the noise of the audience. I mean, that was the cheering of the crowd. It was just incredible. There's something about Canada and Def Leppard. There's just a great love there, you know. So it's always a pleasure to do it. And you know, we don't always get to come to Canada too often. It's usually every 3 or 4 years that we get to do a comprehensive tour like this one, you know, other than just coming in and playing maybe Toronto or Vancouver, you know, as part of an American tour. So it's really nice to actually get to go to these places and you know, get in touch with these people again. And our audience has just been growing and growing, and you know, we're seeing younger people coming to our shows for years, and that's very encouraging to us.
Oh, it absolutely is. And I'll finish with this because I see our time is up, but rumor was that at somewhere between, you know, December and April of this year, you were out in Rochester, New York with Lou Gramm looking over some Shadow King stuff because he's doing a compilation of unreleased material. First of all, any truth to that rumor? And second of all, would you, you know, go beef up some Shadow King demos if given the opportunity?
There's no truth to that rumor at all. No, I haven't seen Lou in many, many years. So that's all news to me. But having said that, I mean, Lou is one of the nicest people I've ever met in the business in all the years I've been in it. You know, he's a really sweetheart of a guy, and I really enjoyed working with him. So I would always be open to that again, you know. But no, I haven't seen him in many, many years. I haven't been in Rochester. It must have been somebody else.
Yeah, I heard that, and I was like, no, I don't think so. But there you go. Vivian, as we say in Montreal, merci beaucoup. And, you know, thank you for those 3 great shows that I saw earlier this month. Just fucking phenomenal stuff. And there you go.
Thanks, Mitch. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon. Rock Talk.